Hello, welcome to episode 66 of Living Well Today. I'm Angela, and thank you for joining me in this space of well-being, where each week we talk about the harmony, the balance, the faith and trust and hope that you can nurture and cultivate right where you are, wherever you are in the world. So whether you're watching this on with me on replay, wherever, on YouTube, the social media platforms of Facebook or LinkedIn, welcome. And thank you for being here. I do take questions, and I love seeing comments and your emails to my bloom@angelamoonin.com. And I think it's a real honor to be able to participate with you in this way and to explore topics that feel meaningful to me for where I'm at in my life. And through that, my hopes of shining a light on my experience, thoughts, insights, questions in a way that informs and perhaps inspires you to reflect on your own life and your own current experiences and what you want shaping for your life for living well today. So today's topic, the power of words, shaping reality and shifting your chemistry, which they have the power to do. Abracadabra. Words that you speak out loud and in your mind to yourself have the power to shape the way you experience your life, the reality as you see it from your perspective. And it also shifts and shapes the chemistry in your brain and in your body. Science shows us that our language influences. And we look at positive psychology and Sean Achor, the science of happiness, etc. And there have been so many studies on the impact of how you experience your day-to-day life and the hormones released in your bloodstream from your brain to your body, and how that elevates certain things or reduces cortisol, for example, or reduces stress, or can increase cortisol and anxiety based on the stories you're telling yourself. So the words and what it means to intentionally shape and select the words that you choose to tell your story, and why it matters in all ways, whether it's at work, at home, in the work that you do in the world, the relationships that you craft, certainly the relationship between you and your own health. So we're diving into something that touches everything, all aspects of our life and our body's ability to heal itself. The words you choose matter. I invite you to, there are so many videos and shows and words of the week and the things that I've done you can see those on my website and on YouTube. I invite you to explore more of those, to comment, to ask questions, because the words that we choose, they don't just describe our experiences or what's happening right before us. They actually create them. They actually create what we see and how we see it. So think about this, for example. Have you ever noticed when you say, I'm exhausted, it makes you feel even more drained? It reaffirms that, reinforces it, and makes you feel it even more deeply. Or a single kind word that you say to yourself or you say to someone else that can lift up their day, their whole day. Science backs this up. So our language influences our stress levels, our immune function, our immunity, how quickly we heal. So we all want to be in that place, right, of being more resourceful for ourselves. I think that would be the only reason that you would be tuning into this episode at all, is because you want to take the wheel of your own life and create greater harmony and happiness and ease and peace and grace, and inviting grace in to allow that healing, both physically and emotionally, mentally. So we're exploring how words affect brain chemistry, how they affect body function. We're going to talk a little bit about narrative medicine, how storytelling improves health outcomes. And I have studied this extensively through positive psychology and some of my work within the healthcare space. How you can rewrite your own internal narrative so that you create a healthier, more empowered life. So let's start with the science. Our brain responds to language as if it's reality. It doesn't know the difference between an imagined thing that is, or that it's to do with someone else. So as much as you can, eliminate, as an example, ever using the C word. Don't want to introduce that concept to your body in any way if you can help it. It's already hard enough because every headline, every third commercial, every conversation your parents or grandparents have with you or your neighbors have with you, they bring it up incessantly. And this is actually shaping the chemistry in our body and our receptors to it. So you want to be mindful about the words that you say. Your brain doesn't know the difference of whether it's quote unquote real or whether it's imagined or whether it's about somebody else. Studies in neuroscience show us that negative words increase stress hormones like cortisol, while positive words increase dopamine, serotonin, the brain's natural feel-good chemicals. Here's a quick example. A study at the University of Pennsylvania found that hospital patients who were exposed to more positive, encouraging language had better recovery rates, faster recovery rates, and required less pain medication than patients who didn't receive that kind of positive input and support. Less pain medication and healed faster. So when you say rather than, try saying it, for example. If you say, I am overwhelmed, you feel a tightening in your chest, your energy level drops. It's a real thing. Versus, I am figuring this out. You feel a difference in your body. Your body leans forward. It gets more interested. It perks up. I'm figuring this out. You're actually creating resourcefulness in the here and now by the words that you choose. Give it a try. Challenge yourself to reframe a common negative thought. Instead of saying, I have to do fill in the blank, XYZ, say, I get to do this. I had this experience this morning. I did some client invoicing, and it's like nails on a chalkboard for me. I mean, I procrastinate every month for the last 20 years. I don't like doing it. A couple of things that I do, I'll say, I'm just going to get started. I'm going to spend 5 minutes on it. It's called the 5-minute exercise. I'm going to spend 5 minutes doing this. What you do is you're taking yourself off the hook and the feeling of overwhelm, like you know it's going to take you 2 or 2.5 hours to do this. Rather, it's 5 minutes. And what we've found through positive psychology, the 5-minute exercise, for example, is that once you get started on something, you're more likely to just finish it. And it doesn't feel so bad once you get started. And maybe you don't do the whole 2.5 hours, but maybe you do a half hour or an hour of it, and all of a sudden you're half done. So it's a wonderful motivational feeling and exercise to say 5 minutes. I get to do this for 5 minutes, and just watch how much you get done. Stories that heal. This is a big part of my life for the last 5 years, especially since the pandemic, is understanding narrative medicine It's an approach in healthcare that recognizes how storytelling, how patients describe their symptoms, their challenges, their pain, and their hopes and dreams and wishes, how that can change their physical and mental outcomes. Narrative medicine. It's incredible. Doctors trained in narrative medicine listen differently. So it's not even just about the stories that the doctors and the caregivers are offering. It actually shifts the way they receive and how actively engaged they are in listening. They listen differently. Instead of just diagnosing the patient, they help the patient reframe the story toward empowerment. Because here's the interesting thing. I was having this conversation yesterday. A diagnosis often feels like a period at the end of a sentence. And that's not healthy. It's not the healthiest choice. I'm not talking about burying your head in the sand and ignoring that there are things that need to happen and protocols that need to be followed. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying don't do those things. They're absolutely necessary. What I am saying is that a doctor can frame a diagnosis in a narrative in a way that is empowering as opposed to disempowering. So be aware of that. You know, a patient who says, I'm fighting a losing battle or I'm fighting anything, experiences more stress and often worse symptoms than one who says, I am working with my body to heal, not fighting anything. What happens when you fight something? Your cortisol goes up, right? You're bearing down, you're leaning into something, you're fighting a battle. That is different than I am working with, I am supporting, I am teaching my body how to thrive again, how to transmute this and heal this. It's very different. And the impact that that has on your chemistry is a real thing. So why wouldn't you want to embolden, empower yourself versus deplete yourself by the language you use? I'm working with my body to heal. Big difference than I'm fighting a battle. It's not a battle. It's not a battle. It's only a battle if you make it a battle. And I understand someone wants to win against something, but you're fighting yourself, you see. That's never a good thing because then there are responses within your body that are fighting back. You don't want warring factions within your body. That's how you got that way in the first place. You want cooperation. Cooperation is not a battle. Cooperation is working together. It's collaborating, it's integrating, it's transmuting for transformation. It's all the difference in the world. So when we change the story, we tell about our health, we engage the power of the brain, the mind, to heal itself in a more profound way, based on belief. That's why we even hear about the placebo effect. The sympathetic vibrations that the simpatico that you create, or the discord that you create by the words that you choose. Because what you're saying, your brain doesn't know the difference between what is real and what is imagined. So you want to use empowering, positive language to shift and shape your body's ability to heal itself. Write down a current story. Here's a quick action step. Instead of doing exercises at the end of today, we're doing them kind of as we go. So write down a story, a current story that you tell yourself about your health, about your past, about your work, about your stress, about your kids, whatever that current story is. Then try reframing it. from a positive perspective, from an empowered and empowering perspective, and tell that story. Rewriting your own narrative. So we talked about how doctors can rewrite and use narrative medicine, storytelling, and shaping a diagnosis or a prognosis from an empowered and empowering perspective, a resourceful perspective, an inspiring, strengthening perspective. If words can shift our chemistry, then we can choose better words, right? To shape a better reality. Affirmations are not just fluff. Affirmations work, but you also must engage the muscle of belief and suspend your skepticism, suspend your doubting, your perhaps maybe lack of faith or trust. Suspend that for just a bit, just long enough for something more positive to take hold. These affirmations, I am working with my body to teach it to heal, to be more powerful, to be more courageous, to be more strength-based. You're rewiring neural pathways. Your brain telling itself a positive story rewires, interrupts the pattern of negativity, which decreases your happiness hormones, decreases the body's ability, therefore, as a result, to heal. Let's say, for example, you say to yourself, I'm bad at handling stress. I'm just bad at it. Try, I'm learning new ways. I am learning new ways to navigate stress with greater ease. Shifts everything. It's my absolute promise to you. So here's a quick true story. A friend once told me about a time when they switched from saying, I'm stuck, I can't figure it out, to I'm in transition and I am figuring it out. That one phrase helped them find a solution. There's a video on my YouTube that I call when you're in the in-between place. And it's okay to be in between. You don't go from one place to fully actualized in another place. There's always transition. And frankly, it's by design to allow us to adapt all and strengthen all the muscles and put the tools in our tool belt we're going to need for when we become that other person in that other place. So as you walk your way through the next 7 days, Wednesday to Wednesday, Wednesday to Tuesday, as you walk your way through, work toward, in your day-to-day, in the grocery line, in your vehicle, when you're in traffic, in conversation with a doctor, in conversation with your mom or your child, can you amp up your own self-awareness? Pick one thing and just say, I am going to reframe my negative words around this story. And I'm going to keep a journal of what changes in your mindset. See if your energy shifts. See if you feel like the answers come more easily to you around that. And even you just feel better. Can't articulate totally why. Or someone says to you, you just seem to have this glow. All you did was change your language and shift the story and the words that you use. So, what words are you choosing? Choose carefully, choose mindfully, choose heartfully, choose from here. And if you feel like you're not so connected and in tune with your heart, try doing a heart meditation, specifically opening my heart meditation for 5, 7, 10 minutes. And then come back and say, okay, now let me reframe that story. Let me tune in, tap in, turn on my heart. Turn on my heart light. You know, the Neil Diamond song from E.T. Turn on your heart light, right? Let it shine wherever you go. Turn on your heart light. And as you do, directly connect to that heart light, and then choose your next sentence, and then choose how to have that conversation with your teenager. And then journal and see if you can shift how you feel about a circumstance. And as you do, your brain will send different signals to your body, release different chemicals in your body. It literally shifts your cells to a more healthy, empowered, peaceful place of hope and trust and well-being. Well-being. So until next time, if you enjoyed today's episode, by the way, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like, follow, share, forward this on. Help me emanate this message more and more. Part of the sea story that we all have been affected by in one way or another, or see 1,000 times a day, part of that story is perpetuating because we are perpetuating it. And we are ingraining it. And remember, our body, our brain doesn't know the difference. So expunge the word from your vocabulary. Just wipe it out. There's no place for it. There's no place for it in your vocabulary. 20 years ago, we never spoke of it. Very rarely did we speak of it. It's not okay to have it have so much real estate in our minds. Because if it's real estate in our minds, eventually it's real estate in our bodies. Energy must manifest. That's physics. Energy becomes matter. So would you prefer the energy of the sea, or would you prefer the energy of well-being, harmony, happiness? You're in charge. You get to choose. Always, always. So choose well. For living well today, the words you speak shape your life and shift your chemistry, your well-being in the world. For living well today, I'm Angela Moonen, and I'll see you next time.